So today I want to talk about this story out of Energy Now Media, and it's titled "Justin Trudeau, Only Prime Minister in More Than a Century to Increase Per Person Debt Without Facing War or Recession." Study from the Fraser Institute, and this is a big story, and it's more of the same in some way, but like I always say, we got to keep talking about this stuff. We have to keep discussing it, and we have to keep making other people aware of it because, like the title says, Justin Trudeau is doing something that has never been done before without a war or recession breaking out. Now, my money is on the recession, but you never know. And like I've said before, I mean, there's going to be a recession coming, and the problem is it's going to hit Canada hard, like even harder than the States. The States is going to have one too. I would guess in Trump's second term, which is really going to hurt Trump, is my prediction. But it's going to happen. And I mean, the Trudeau government, we don't really know how long they're going to be in because in Canada, you can call it a recession, or not a recession, a election whenever you want, basically. And minority governments, like they always say, tend to not last too long. So we'll see how long it lasts. But my guess is a recession comes in the next. I mean, assuming the Trudeau government doesn't get voted out, you never know. Maybe they'll get voted out and it'll come early on in a conservative government and they'll get effed over, but we'll see. I mean, my guess is that a conservative government wouldn't get reelected anyway at this point, even if, I mean, I don't think they would get elected to begin with, let alone reelected. But like I say, the per person debt, the other thing to point out too is that for all the Trudeau supporters will always point that the economy is actually doing not bad, especially when you talk to the lefties in Alberta or wherever you're from. They'll tell you, oh, the economy is not that bad. I mean, in Alberta, they'll tell you it's bad because of Kenney, even though it's mostly because of Trudeau. I think Kenney could do a lot more to help the economy, but a lot of it is being hurt because of the terrible BS regulations and the equalization. I mean, even if equalization was just gotten rid of, Alberta would be the richest and most thriving province by far. But even with a poor oil price, but the whole point being is that if the economy was good, well then why is debt so high? Like the when you look at these studies that show that the people living amount of people living paycheck to paycheck is very high, if not an all-time high. The amount of people like literally having to use credit cards just to get by is staggering. The amount of people that are a paycheck or two away, or a lost paycheck away, or sorry, a lost paycheck or a missed paycheck. Maybe they get laid off, um, you know, for a month or two. A lot of people only have a month or two of savings, and that's not very much. Like if the economy goes bellied up and you get laid off, it's going to take probably 2 or 3 years for the economy to recover. And how many people have a year or two, maybe even three, to where if they lost their job, they'd be all right? Like the overwhelming majority of people don't. But if the economy was good, well, guess what? People would. If interest rates were higher, guess what? People would. But again, interest rates are lower because generally the government wants to run a massive deficit, and it's easier to make the interest payments on the debt if the interest rate is lower. So it's pretty simple there. And again, it also makes it easier for people to borrow because if interest rates are lower, then it encourages people to borrow. If they're higher, it encourages people to save. That's just, I mean, at the base level. Obviously, there's more that goes into it, but like I said, the big thing of this story is that a recession is coming for Canada. It's just a matter of time, and the problem is that it's probably going to hit places. I hate to say it because I'm from there, but it's going to hit places like Alberta harder than even the rest of Canada, and it's going to hit Canada harder than somewhere like the States. Like I mean, it's going to hit the States too. I don't know if it'll happen at the same time or not. Probably roughly, kind of like the '09 or '08 one. But again, the other thing too is that the 2010s were the first decade in a long time to not have at least a small correction, let alone a recession. So, like I said, it's coming, and I would say prepare for it. For all the people that haven't already, I mean, if you have already, you're smart, good on you. But I would prepare, and I would prepare for it. I'm not saying it's going to, but I could definitely seeing it be a major recession. Like, I mean, it could be a drop in the can compared to your '08, '09 could be a drop in the can compared to this next one that's coming up, especially if the Trudeau government's still in power. They're so bad at their job, and their way of governing so poor that I think it could be really really bad, and I would be really worried if I was anyone who didn't have savings, or at least didn't have someone that could help you pay for stuff in case something did go bad. I would be really worried. But like I said, this is just a warning that it's going to happen, and like I said, you were warned. And the other thing I would point out too is that when it does happen, make sure you tell people, and especially, I mean, tell people before it happens, that it is because of these massive deficits, these BS socialistic policies from the Trudeau government. Tell people ahead of time, because when it happens, that's probably going to be the first thing that hits their mind. It's like, hey, that crazy cousin or uncle that I have that I thought was crazy is actually right about all this kind of stuff. And there might be a decent chance to actually change their mind. That's kind of why I'm pointing that out. But anyway, I wanted to make a video about this because the Canadian economy is in a lot of trouble now, especially in Alberta. It's not going to get any help. And like I say, a recession in the long run, it'll be a good thing, assuming that the Trudeau government gets voted out, assuming that Alberta can get some actual sane policies reenacted. My guess is that won't happen. My guess is that things are going to get really, really bad, and Alberta is going to be faced with Albertans, I guess, are going to be faced with literally move out of the country or a Wexit movement, and that's my guess is that there's going to be some big, big cultural issues going on, and there could be violence. I'm not encouraging it, but I think there's going to be violence. I think things are going to get really bad, but that's another video in and of itself. Anyway, if you like the video, make sure to hit that like and subscribe. And like I said before, I do have a PayPal account. You can donate to me if you want. I would appreciate that. I have it in the description. So, like I say, I'd appreciate that if you do that. But anyway, um, make sure you stay tuned for more videos.